All right. Think we're there. Good afternoon, everyone. Just making sure that we're on here. All right. So today I want to talk about DIY estate planning, an option that I offer for doing that well, comparing with having me handle that for you. I do offer both options. So yeah, I'm going to dive into some details on that topic today. To start off with, my name is Marisa Nelson. I'm a lawyer licensed in California. Everything I talk about today is going to be focusing on California law. There may be similarities in other states, but I am licensed in California, and there are differences as well. For the past 15 years, I have been guiding my clients through the preparation and execution of wills, trusts, and probate here in California. This is legal information. Of course, as I need to tell you, I'm not your lawyer just by watching this. This is not legal advice. It is important to have information specific to your situation. But let's get going. So I recently overhauled and upgraded my DIY option, and I want to talk a little bit why I created one in the first place. So from the beginning, over 15 years ago, my clients have been coming to me with DIY wills and trusts that they either created and didn't feel good about, so they wanted me to review them, make sure they were doing what they needed them to, or they had created a DIY will or trust a while ago, and now it was time to make some changes, upgrade, and they wanted to work with me one-on-one. So I've seen a lot of wills and trusts prepared by through other systems, the online options that we all know the names of, as well as, of course, drafted hundreds, if not thousands, myself, and seen many done by other lawyers as well. So I have a lot of context for what works, what's clear, what's not. I've created them, I've updated them, I've talked to people about their wishes and their interpretation of what's in the documents. And just as importantly, I have worked on the other end of things, guiding clients through the process after someone has passed away and we're either administering their will, administering their trust, going through a probate. And so I've seen what can go right and what can go wrong there. So after seeing many of these DIY online forms that people brought to me to review, I saw consistently a lot of problems with them. There's a reason people were coming and saying, hey, I'm not sure about this. Can you review it for me? So clearly there's a need for DIY options. People do use them. A lawyer is not always an option, or people choose the DIY option. So there is a need for that, and there is a need for a better one. What's been out there has some flaws, and it really impacts people. So I saw these problems over and over again. I saw trusts that were meant just, basic stuff, everything to my spouse and then equally to my kids, that didn't actually do that. The kids were left out of the trust entirely. I've seen wills that were so unclear, so ambiguous that they caused more problems than they solved. Ambiguity, confusion causes arguments, disagreements, misunderstandings, tension between families at a time when it's already high. It causes expense. It causes assets to go to the wrong people. It causes the probate court to get involved when they otherwise wouldn't have needed to. So it's really important that we have clear wills and trusts that lay out exactly what you want to do, what you want to have happen, who is involved, who inherits what. This has really critical real-world implications. So along with, of course, crafting these documents for my clients to do exactly that, for a long time, I considered that there's a need for a better DIY option as well. So in 2020, I created that. And the reason we're talking about this now is I have recently overhauled my DIY option, upgraded it immensely, made it even easier to complete, even more thorough, even more options. So if you would like, you can go straight to my website and learn more there, marisanelson.com. I do have several options. I'm going to talk more about those in just a moment here. So I do also have written articles on the website, which we're going to try to link here. And you can go to the articles section on my website as well if you want more information there. So a few things I'm going to talk about here today. How to decide if you're not sure, do I want to DIY? Do I want to work with a lawyer, with Marisa, to handle this for me? How do I decide, will DIY work for me? Do I want to do DIY? I've just said that this option is better. I've made a lot of improvements here. So how is it better? Like, in what ways is it better? What important features have I added? What problems does it solve? We're going to talk about that. And then how to choose which option, because part of what how I've improved things is by offering a specific option for single parents, for married parents, for single people without kids, married people without kids. Do you own real estate, or do you own, very minimal assets at this point? I've created options to fit each situation. So I'm going to talk about how to choose which one works for you. So let's dive into that. So first off, DIY versus having me handle it for you, which works best for you. And, it's going to be dependent on the individual and the situation, and what literally works best for you. So some ways to think about that if you're not sure. What is more limited for you? Is time more of a restriction for you, or is money more of a restriction for you? Do you actually want a project? Doing it on your own can be a bit of a project. Do you like to research, to figure out things, to learn new terms and vocabulary? And just, do you like to figure these things out on your own? Do you like the details of it? Or do you just want it done with as little input from your own time and energy as possible? Will you actually get it done on your own? If you go the DIY route, do you work well that way? Will you go through the steps, fill it out, and get it signed? My goal here has been to make this simpler, more streamlined, and make it easier. And will you go through those steps on your own? I know for myself, it depends on the project and what else I have going on in my life. Will you get it done, or do you prefer that I guide you through it, provide some accountability, tell you the next step, translate your goals and wishes, and like, what do you want to do about this? What are your priorities here? Okay, I take that and put them into legal language, legal documents for you, or do you want to do that part yourself? How does this tend to go in the rest of your life? Do you work well with a CPA, a personal trainer, a coach to help keep you on track, tell you the next steps, walk you through the decisions and tasks so that you can get back to focusing on other things? Or do you prefer to do your own taxes, DIY your home projects, learn as you go, and keep yourself on track? So those are some of the factors for DIY versus one-on-one and having me take care of it for you. One of the things that differentiates this, so if you're not sure, if you're like, well, I think I do want to DIY it, but I'm not, I'm a little concerned about whether I will actually get it done. One of the differences with this option, one of the benefits of doing DIY through my option rather than one of the other ones you may have heard of, is you have that choice. If you're like, I think I'm going to do the DIY, I think it'll be great. You dive in and you realize you're busier than you thought right now. This is not happening and you just want it done. You can upgrade from the DIY to having me do it for you. And you'll get a credit if you upgrade within 6 months of purchase. I will credit your full fees from the DIY option as a credit towards the one-on-one fees. So that is a great option there. If you're kind of on the fence, you can upgrade there. I also offer a couple other options there too. If you're like, well, I want to do the DIY, but how do I know if I've done it right? Well, a couple things. I have minimized the amount of work that you need to do, the amount of information that you need to input. That's a big part of why I offer the single parent option, the married with kids option, the young adult option, is to minimize the amount of work that you have to do and the amount of places where like the critical information is baked in. So that's part of it. And then also, if you want full peace of mind that it is filled out in a way that achieves your specific goals and wishes, that it goes to the right people are in charge, I do offer the option to upgrade and have me review what you've done, tell you, yes, you'll send me the draft the documents that you've prepared through the DIY, and you'll tell me a little bit about what you're wanting to achieve with them, and I'll go through it and say, yes, this does what you've told me that you wanted to do, or no, this part needs to be changed here to achieve that. So I do offer the option to have me review things related to that. As part of doing a DIY option is, while I do offer scenarios for many different situations, they're not millions of options. So there's going to be some variation between people. If this mostly fits you, if you just need a few tweaks from what is offered in these DIY forms, we may be able to customize them for you in limited circumstances. So if you're not sure about that, check in as soon as you have that question. There's a fee for that, of course, but that may be an option if you're pretty sure this will work, but you have some different circumstances. And you can always check in like, hey, this is my situation. Will this work for me, or do I need to hire you one-on-one? Send me an email or DM. We can talk about that. I do want to make sure that whatever option you choose works well for you, and we can often do that with a really quick conversation at the start. We can also have a full consultation. You can schedule on my website anytime. A great place to start is with a Zoom or a phone call and talk about your specific needs. I'm considering DIY versus one-on-one, or just, I already know which one, and getting some information before you get started. So that's a great option as well. A few more things about, how is this better? Why did I create this? What's different? All of these documents, the DIY options are gender inclusive. They include individuals and families of all flavors. I think it's ridiculous that many legal documents don't. There's no reason for legal language to be so gendered. Often it is clearer and less ambiguous to use names rather than gender. So that's the case here. Each document also includes appropriate powers to take care of any pets that you may have. That is not always the case. So we do want to make sure that your trusted people can provide care for your pet in an emergency, cover their costs, provide a home if it comes to that. So pets are covered, as well as, of course, the people important to you, charities important to you, all of that. So let's talk more about, I mentioned I offered different options with your situation kind of baked in. So let's talk a little bit about that. A lot of forms expect you to just fill out, one size fits nobody. There's nothing baked in. You got to just really carefully fill out every element of it. What do you want to have happen, without explaining a lot about what you're choosing in each scenario. So like I said, I've baked a lot of that into reduce the potential for errors and confusion, reduce the amount of work that you need to do to make it work well. You buy the option that fits you based on a few simple criteria, and then that's already set. You fill out a few names and addresses and birth dates, but there is less to do that way. So if you have kids or plan to soon, you would pick one of the options for parents. If there is no plan for kids now or in the near future, or you just don't want to, they're so far down the road that you're not ready to include them, you would pick the no kids option. If you, the parents' options, you have kids, they're going to go, your assets are going to go equally to your kids within the documents that's already baked in. You'll also choose, like, are you married? Are you not married? If you are in a relationship, but it is not a legal marriage, then you would need to choose the single option. And then you would each do your own planning because these when we're dealing with estate planning, it does include both state and federal law. California recognizes some other options to an extent. The federal government does not. So basically, if you're married, pick the married option. If you are not married legally, you'll need to pick the unmarried options. So kids or no kids, married or not. What else? What type and value of assets do you have? If you own real property, you almost certainly want a trust. If you own more than about $200,000 in assets or will soon, consider a trust. If you have young kids, that's another good reason to consider a trust. I do have a whole article just on this topic on my website, marisanelson.com, and click on articles, and it'll talk you through will or trust. But these are the factors to consider. Do you own real estate? Get a trust. Do you have more than about 200,000 in assets? Trust is a good idea. If you have young kids, or really anyone that you would want to give your assets to if you pass away, that you would not feel comfortable saying, here you go, I trust you to manage these. You're old enough, responsible enough, you have the financial skills, you're not on public benefits. There's no concerns that way. The trust can also cover beneficiaries where you're not worried about that, but it is especially important for any beneficiary where you would not feel comfortable, like giving a house to a 2-year-old. Trust is a really good idea. We can really help them out by planning through a trust and carry out your wishes as well. Yeah, so those are some of the big factors. Pretty straightforward. If you have questions, again, we have articles on which option to choose, and you can always email with questions. We do also offer, so those are kind of the estate planning options, a will or a trust, and healthcare directive and power of attorney, etc. I've done videos previously on, what are the different documents involved and kind of what is included in an estate plan, will, trust, power of attorney, healthcare directive, guardianship nomination if you have kids under 18. So feel free to scroll back and look at videos over the last few months and years talking more about those topics. I also, if you're wanting something a little more limited right now, you just want to deal with one particular concern, I do offer guardianship nominations, just standalone. We're not doing the rest of the estate plan right now. We just need to nominate a guardian for the kids. That can be a great option if that's really your biggest concern right now. If you just can't deal with the rest of it right now, if you don't have a lot of assets yet, if you are worried about getting deported, or you're about to travel, or whatever it is, if all you're ready to deal with is guardianship nomination, I do offer that as a standalone option as well. And we have a young adult option. So if you or your child at college age, going off to college, just became an adult, not going off to college, but that you're kind of in that stage of not planning for a lot of assets yet, you're not ready to do a will or a trust, but you need, as we all do at 18 and over, just some foundational documents, healthcare directive, power of attorney, HIPAA release. We do have that young adult option as well. It's not strictly age limited, just anyone 18 and over who needs those kind of starting documents to make sure that at least we're not worried about the assets yet, but like the basic situation is covered in an emergency. So yeah, so those are all listed on the website, along with the option to upgrade, to have me review, if you are doing DIY but you do own real estate or you own a business, there is additional documentation that needs to cover those, and we do offer the option to have me do that part. It is important to have, your home is a pretty significant asset for most of us. It's our largest asset. That is an important thing to have the paperwork done very precisely. So if you do the DIY trust, we will help you put the real estate into the trust. So that's an option to upgrade there as well. Yeah, so just to summarize again, those different options. We have single parent plan, married parent plan, single, no kids, married, no kids. Each of those you can pick the will option or the trust option depending on the assets that you have currently. You can choose the guardianship only, guardianship nomination only. We have the young adult package that I just talked about. I also did some more in-depth videos about that very recently. You have the option to have me review everything, to transfer real estate or businesses for you into the trust. And again, these are all specifically for California residents. It is very important that your estate planning documents and generally legal documents match the state that you are a resident. There are differences and it can cause a ton of problems. That's another thing I've seen in the past with people doing DIY stuff, is they have some document from a random state that has nothing to do with them or their assets, and that really is a problem. All right, so yeah, gonna have more information on my website. Feel free to DM or comment, email, or schedule a call or Zoom when you're ready to get started. If you are outside of California, I may be able to refer you to someone, so feel free to ask that as well. Yeah, and if you're feeling inspired to get this done, use that momentum. Whatever option will work for you, whether it's my DIY option, working with me one-on-one, if you're in another state, start the process, because it's so easy to put this off. And, so we don't all know when we're going to need this. And when we do, that is the absolute hardest time to get this done. And having these clear documents in place, it's a huge peace of mind. Like I hear all the time, I am so glad I finally got this done. It's been a weight on my shoulders for every trip I've taken, every time I leave my kids with a babysitter, for years and years, it's been on my mind, and I finally got it done, and it's a huge relief. So give yourself that gift, give the people, pets, and charities that you care about that gift of having this done. Again, if you have questions, let me know. And love to help you get this done. So take care, everyone. Stay safe.